Good morning, Justin and Nikki from JustNiks MycoSilva LLC. We're just about to head into one of our sites here and begin inoculating. Thought we'd say hello and good morning since it's so beautiful out. What was the temperature when we got here?
18 degrees and it feels like 8.
18 and feels like 8. Good morning, everybody. It's time to Chaga Farm.
Well, sweet. We got the Chaga Farmers with us today.
Happy to be here.
Justin and Nikki.
Yes, thank you for
Right?
having us.
How do you say your last name, Justin?
Triquet,
Nice.
like tree K.
All right. You're up from
Dexter.
Dexter. 3-hour drive.
Yeah, a
Roughly?
little bit over 3 hours. Right in the center of Maine.
Made
right in the
it
heart
up
of
to the
Maine.
county.
That's right.
Not your first time in the county, though.
Not our first time. We have a couple Chaga farms up this way, and certainly looking to establish some more up in Aroostook
All right.
and Washington in that area.
Yeah, it's a super interesting story because we were just talking. Chaga's becoming pretty popular. Just past 5 years or so, or maybe even a little more.
Yep.
And yeah, when you said you're a Chaga farmer, like what the heck? How do you farm Chaga? So tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got to farming Chaga. Who sits down one day and says, "I'm going to be a Chaga farmer"?
That's right.
Where does that come from?
I don't think anybody has. I guarantee you nobody has except for us in North America. So, and we had been making kind of, you had said Chaga's gotten popular in like the past 5 or 6 years
Yeah.
or so. Really 2016, 2015-ish is really when that mushroom boom started.
Okay, so we'll say 10 years.
So yeah, about 10 years. So we had never heard of Chaga before. We were standing in line at a store, and
Now we were before the standing in line part. We are farmers. We traveled the country. We've done beef cattle, dairy cattle. We've taken care of over 100 acres of land, like caretaking the property and stuff like that. Traveled New York, Ohio, Kansas.
We were caretakers of a 2,500 head beef cattle ranch.
So we were automatically traveling farmers anyways, going across the country during the COVID times. And then when the country opened back up, we came to Maine, and then that's when we discovered the Chaga. So I just wanted to establish that.
I mean, I think that's a good point too, because
we were rental farmers at the time.
right, we had another company prior to this one that was a rent a farmers company. We started a company kind of like a migrant farm workers sort of company. However, we weren't migrant, and it was basically, if somebody had short term or midterm kind of projects at the farm. See, the thing with farming is that if you're working a beef cattle farm or dairy farm, like things start falling by the wayside and projects start getting put off because this takes priority and that takes priority, and usually it's the animals and the caring of the animals. So projects get put off, and hay wagons start getting trees growing through them because they'll just put it over there. Buildings aren't getting taken down, and so on and so forth. So Nick and I started a company where we would travel around the country. Farmers would get in touch with us on this website, and they would say, "Hey, listen, like I need 30 miles of 6-wire barbed wire fence put up in Kansas, and it's over 10,000 acres."
Wow. Okay.
They'd call us, so we went out there and we worked on that, and we put up 30 miles of 6-wire barbed wire fence
In front of thousands and thousands of beef cattle.
Yes,
Wild beef cattle.
Yeah, that
Dangerous.
was on 10,000 acres, and I think they had 20,000 head, and they had 20,000 head of cattle, 50,000 head sows. So they're one of the larger sow producers in the Midwest.
Wow.
So we did that sort of work, and
So basically anything the farmers are preoccupied farming.
that's
And
it.
anything that they couldn't get to, you'd
I mean, Nick and I
anything.
single-handedly would go in and take down a 3,000 square foot building.
wow.
Us.
Okay.
And get it taken down in a month.
Yeah.
And we had we were also very well versed at putting up greenhouses. So those 4,000 square foot greenhouses, that are 100 feet long and 30 feet wide, 16 feet high. Nick and I would get those up in about 4 days, fully tarped and so on and so forth. So just to piggyback on that. So our background together started really on the farm life.
Okay.
When Nick and I told you the first 6 months we did like dead end jobs.
Yep.
And since then we've spent 24/7 together for the last 10 years. Those dead end jobs, I say dead end, I think you were working retail and I was doing roofing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's tough work.
And it is tough work, but at the same, that's not the type of work that I want to be doing when I'm 50 or 60 years old.
Nor could you.
Right.
That's hard on the body.
That's for sure. So, so we were doing that, and I said to Nick after work one day, we'd only been together for like 5-6 months. I'm like, listen, like I know a lot about you, and I've heard lots of stories and so on and so forth. But what I don't know is like, what is your dream job right now? Like, what's your dream job right now? And she's like, and she started painting this picture, and she said, I want to be on a farm, and I want to work with my spouse, which was kind of interesting because I was always brought up, you don't ever work with your spouse. That's if you want to break up, then work with your spouse. So when she first said that, I was like, wow, really? She said, I want to work with my spouse and I want to build something together. Yes. And I looked at her and I said, then let's go get that. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, let's go get what you just said. Let's find that. And a week later, we're on a farm. We're out in New York, caretakers of a 130 acre farm. And we designed like what she shared with me that she wanted as her dream job. We then designed the company around that.
The Chaga Farm.
And that's what the rental farmers.
And the rental farmers.
We'll go forward a little bit. So we had those companies, and now we're talking about other business ideas. And we're in a store, and this old fella behind us, I think that he was he might have been like 250, 300 years old. I mean, he was an old guy.
He was a little angel behind our backs.
He said, that's right. Yeah. That's right. I still see his face today when people ask, like, how'd you guys get started on this? I see his face instantly. And he said, why don't you do Chaga? And Nikki and I looked at each other, and we were like choo-choo, like Chaga.
Choo-choo. Yeah.
What is this guy talking about? So we went home. About 15 minutes later, we thought, Chaga. So let's just check this out and see what this guy is talking about. Chaga. And the first thing that pops up is its nickname is God's Gold.
Okay.
So that caught our attention instantaneously. And we started researching like, wow, it does all these things and it has all these benefits. And like, this is amazing. We have to try this ourselves. Yeah. So we went out about a week later. That was on Christmas Day. We found our first piece of Chaga. Incidentally, Chaga only appears 1 out of every 10 to 20,000 birch trees in the wild. But we found our first piece of Chaga on the first tree that we looked at.
On Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day. We drove out to the woods. We looked at the tree and we went, there it is right there.
There's Chaga.
And we walked up to her like, no way.
We thought it would be hours before we found it.
This was hard to find.
Yeah.
Well, it was after that, because then we spent like weeks and weeks and weeks looking for the next piece and couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
But we tried it and immediately realized, some of the benefits were starting to express themselves right away.
Like subtle things. And at the time I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. So at the time I was on medication, and I was desperate wanting to get off the medication because of the COVID times scared the ever daylights. Yep. I didn't want the country shutting down again. And if so,
you're without,
I'm without medicine. Yep. So,
yeah. So, I mean, so we researched it. We started seeing the benefits ourselves right away. And Nikki said to me, we have to, because of the type of people we are, and we're entrepreneurs, so we like to create. Like creating things brings a lot of pleasure and joy to us.
We're designed to create.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. So we said we have to figure out a way to make this. Nikki said we have to figure out a way to make this at least available to everybody on the planet who wants it. And it's not right now because it's very rare.
Yeah.
And it's rare to the sense where if you were to try and rare, and I'm speaking that like from a commercial sense, from a commercial point of view. We all go out in the forest, you hunters go out in the forest and you see them, you see it here. And
You have your pockets.
that might make us say, I see it all over the place.
It can
and I
leave
see
you
it
to
all
feel
the
that
time.
way, for sure.
But from a commercial sense, and that's what we started looking at. Like, wait a second, like harvesting is not sustainable. Wild harvesting is not sustainable because it can't supply the masses.
Yep.
So, and we're not a big proponent on taking something that's real and then making something that's fake to imitate it.
Correct.
So we said, okay, so we then spent the next 2.5 years in research and development and all sorts of schooling, ecology and biology schools for both fungal and trees, for both fungi and plantae.
Yeah.
And studying all how they work together and the symbiosis and what makes this particular symbiotic and parasitic relationship like so special, and then launched the company at the end of 22. We launched the company.
That was scary. Scary.
is.
From
We
the
had
ground up.
It was pretty cool. We
Jump in.
order
Yes.
to do it. So our first set of plugs we ended up having made outside of overseas. We had that shipped in. We now have our plugs made at our own laboratory here in the United States.
So you inoculate trees.
So that process, so it's the same. It's a very similar process as if you were to grow shiitox or lion's mane on logs.
Okay.
You're taking a wooden plug, you're drilling a hole into the wood, you're putting the plug in, and you're covering it up with a wax.
Okay.
The difference is when you're growing sheets, they're saprophobes, so they're going to eat that dead wood. And Nonotis obliquus, which is the scientific name for chaga, what that actually needs a living tree. So it's not, if you put it in a dead tree, it's going to die.
Eventually it will die because it'll eat for a little while. And then, because sometimes you'll find a dead tree that's down with chaga on it.
Okay.
You never want to harvest that.
Okay.
It's not good for you.
So, I mean, here's we use trees anywhere from 3.5 inches in diameter up to about 12 inches in diameter.
Okay.
Anything larger than that, we usually suggest to the landowner that, that these might be good for veneers, or you might be able to make some more money off of this tree, so on and so forth. So,
And then if they don't care, we go ahead and inoculate them anyways. Because
Okay.
so that's essentially what we do with the birch trees. We drill 5 to 7 holes in a birch, about 6.5 feet to about a foot off the ground. So we're not climbing ladders or anything like that. In 5 years from now, that's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit higher. So we take those things into consideration. We also take the things into consideration that took us a year or two to figure out, that when we're inoculating in the winter and we're 3 feet higher on snowshoes standing on there, so we need to put them down a little bit lower. We need to put them down a little bit lower. But
The snowpack get pretty deep in Maine.
that's right. That's right. So, so that's essentially what we do after we inoculate the trees. So we drill 5 to 7 holes. Tree goes. The plugs go into the tree. We cover it up with a proprietary wax. We actually make that wax. We invented the wax.
No kidding.
Yep. And that keeps it keeps the hole dry, so it keeps moisture out. Keeps any other herbivores or any other competitors trying to get in that hole. So once that happens, this is where the first 2 and 3 years, there's not a whole lot of activity that you can see on the outside going on.
Okay.
But on the inside of the tree, like that's
where the conversation
It's happening.
starts.
this is where the energy starts.
Okay.
Because you have a fungal plug going into a living birch tree. So you have two different kingdoms that you're putting into each other. There's about a 2 to 3 year chemical conversation, or kind of an explosion that goes on between the two, because remember, they have to figure out
How to live together.
together for the rest of their lives, which is why we call it a marrying phase. And because in a marrying phase, sometimes it takes a couple of years for things to stabilize a little bit, doesn't it? So we call it a marrying
For things
phase.
to mature a little bit.
That's
Yes,
right. That's right. Chaga is a parasitic fungus.
Okay.
So that conch that comes out is sterile. There's no spores. It's what that conch is the result of the chemical conversation that happens in the tree between the fungi and the tree itself and its host tree. So that conch is actually part tree and part fungi.
No kidding.
Fungi take some of the tree's compounds, such as betulin or betulinic acid.
Okay.
That white powder on the outside of birch trees.
Yeah.
That's betulinic acid. Some of the other compounds from the tree, the fungi actually processes that and then puts it into that conch, so that makes it available for us in teas and tinctures, whether we're doing an alcohol extraction or a hot water extraction.
Yeah.
And that's how we take those. So a lot of people are very confused about what that black conch is that's sitting there. Like, how did it grow there, and so on and so forth. And it's the result, again, it's the result of that relationship that's happening inside the tree. That's what comes out.
So is it a symbiotic relationship between the two organisms? Like they both benefit each other in some way, shape, or form?
Yep. Enonotus obliquus and its host tree have both a symbiotic and a parasitic relationship. Okay. So the parasitic, in the same way that we're parasites on the earth, or dust mites are all over our skin and eating the dead skin, but not messing with our organs or anything like that. So parasitic in that way. Symbiotic, absolutely, in the sense, because when chaga enters the tree, be it naturally or artificially, the way that we do it, it instantly increases two enzymes produced by the tree. One called PAL, and the other called chitostan. Chitostan chitin, what the outside of shells are. Yeah. It's also what the outside of fungal walls are made of from. So instantly, when that drill happens and that plug goes in there, within a couple hours, now the tree is starting to raise its levels of PAL and chitostan, trying to break this down. The really cool thing about Enonotus obliquus is that it feeds off of the metabolites created when that happens. So over thousands of years, it has adapted that when the tree turns that on, it then starts feeding off of those metabolites. But what's happening on the outside of the tree is now immune system is much stronger.
Okay.
So there's kind of there's some of that give and take there. There's also some of that back and forth when it comes to carbon sequestration as well, and carbon being stored in that conch as well. So
is there a difference in chaga that's produced from farming versus what's found naturally, or are they indistinguishable?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and we will be able to fully answer that for you in about a year and a half.
Because you are months. 7 years in,
so
right?
With our farms, so we're 4 years.
Okay. 2.5
years of research and development before that. So when we launched the company, that was 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. So we're looking at 28, 29 being our first harvest.
No kidding.
Our first harvest we already have set up is about 110,000 pounds. We currently have just over 1 million pounds successfully growing. We have 12,000 acres under contract, and about 1,000 of that is working acres. So, and jump in here anytime
Of course.
anytime you want.
I'm waiting. You're doing a good job, but I'm waiting to jump in.
Thank you, boss.
Smart guy.
But you know what's kind of funny? Funny, not funny. We're both co-founders of the company. People have to have their positions in the company. Yeah. Nikki is the CEO of the company, so I literally have to get her signature in order to move on or something. So when I say that, it's kind of a joke, but at the same time, it's serious.
We use each other's weaks and strengths,
right?
So we use them to our benefit.
Yeah, you guys were explaining that to me earlier.
I'm the chief operating officer in the company, and that plays to a lot of my strong suits in terms of delegation and allocation and all of that. And Nikki sees holes in things and is able to pull the reins back from me and say, "Whoa, hold up, I see this coming."
Yeah. You guys are like chaga and a birch tree.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Less parasitic and more symbiotic.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh, shoot.
So our business model. So when I was speaking about 12,000 acres and so on and so forth. So the way that our business model works, when we launched this company, we not only wanted to create large, a lot of natural medicine. That wasn't the only reason why we were doing this. We wanted to create streams of income for people. Because we come from the farming world, we're multifaceted farmers by profession, working cattle mostly. But Nikki has a very long career as well in horses. She showed horses and did all that professionally.
No way.
Yeah, barrel racing and stuff like that.
So what we wanted to do, so in farming, let's say I'm a farmer and I need to grow 2,000 acres of corn, but I only have 1,000 acres. But you have 1,000 acres, then you don't use your field at all. So I rent the land from you, and I'm sure you're familiar, especially up here.
Farmers.
You're familiar with this.
We were just out on a farm the other day, and there's a broccoli farmer, a
Yep.
potato farmer. They
Right.
swap land back and forth all the
Yes.
time.
That's right.
Rotational crops.
Yes.
So we said, okay, well, since we don't own 10,000 acres ourselves just yet,
Just
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boys.
just yet, since we don't own 10,000 acres just yet ourselves, we're like, how are we going to acquire this land? And we went through all sorts of different, well, we could lease, we can this, we can that, we can try all sorts of different. And then we said, wait a second, we can help landowners to make, and that we then spent the next year just in research about that. We can help landowners to make money from their trees that are just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. We started researching, okay, well, how much are those trees worth? We looked into that. So the trees that we're inoculating are worth, as logs, they're worth about 30 cents to the landowner. As pulp, typically
You're paying out.
you're going to pay out in order for them to be pulp. So we like to say that we're growing a high value commodity off an otherwise worthless tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, cool. So if you have 100 acres
Yep.
and you see us and you contact us and you say, hi, JustNiks, I hear you guys can turn money out of acreage here. So like, tell me a little bit about it. And we're going to take 5 of that 100 acres and we're going to turn that into a chaga farm. We are then, so the investment part of it, this is the business model. The landowner purchases the plugs from us. Those plugs are all inclusive. So what I mean by all inclusive is it's going to cover us doing an assessment on the forest.
Okay.
It's going to cover us doing all of the inoculations. It's going to cover us coming back every year. We come back every year to the forest and monitor the growth. We replace, between years 2 and 3, we replace any plugs that aren't showing signs of taking. So we guarantee 100% of the crop is going to grow.
Dang.
Then between years 5 and 7, the chaga is ready for harvest. We buy all of the chaga back from the landowner for about a 320% ROI.
Wow. Okay.
So like one tree,
So one tree, the return on it over the course of the 15 years is going to bring $252
Okay.
at our current rate. It's 1,000 plug minimum that goes in there, which is about 140 trees.
Okay.
We're getting 3 harvests
Holy
off of the
smokes.
same plug over the course of 15 years. So that first harvest for the landowner is going to be between 5 and 7 years. That's going to be their first significant payout.
Yeah.
But when we harvest the chaga, like people who are familiar with chaga, you don't dig it out of the tree. You leave a little bit on the tree. That chaga then grows back.
Okay.
So that sclerotia, that outer black, is going to form again, and it's going to continue growing.
So there's no reseeding at all.
And it's only going to take about 4 or 5 years for that next. It's called a flush.
Okay.
In mushroom in mycology.
Yeah.
So when it blooms again, so it only take another 4 or 5 years, and then another 4 or 5 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
So the agreements that we get into our landowners with are about a 15 to 18 year relationship. So it's a long-term and slow growing,
Yeah.
patient process.
Could
So
it be
we're-
longer than 18? Like how do you come up with that?
Yeah, so
Time frame.
and it most definitely could be longer. So we're in our 50s now. So when we were designing
So you're thinking,
when we were designing it, we thought, okay, so 18 years. So we'll be 68 at that point in
Yeah,
time. The company will already, all of the different avenues of the company will already be in well operation, probably for a decade and a half at that point. But we thought, we could put the agreement for 50 years.
yeah,
They can,
It just
the
doesn't make a
clients
lot of
can
sense.
definitely re-sign. 'Cause we have things set up where they can re-sign later on, or if
For
the
additional
tree,
harvests.
yeah,
Okay.
for additional harvests, for additional payouts.
Or they can cut
Or
down
they
their
can
tree,
cut- yeah.
do firewood.
Yep.
species of birch doesn't matter.
There are 11 species of birch here in
Yeah,
the state of Maine.
we do
Didn't know
all,
if you knew
yeah.
that, and we do all of it.
We typically stay away from gray because their lifespan is a bit shorter.
Okay, yeah.
But if they're nice and young and nice and viable, we'll go ahead and inoculate them. But we do try to stay away from them.
Now, someone like me who's out hunting or fishing, most common we'd see is it on yellow birch? Is kind of what,
Yeah, so
but it can be on any.
it's yellow and white birch
Okay.
that it commonly grows on. So there's just slightly more yellow birch here in the state than there is white
Okay.
birch, just slightly more.
And they live longer.
And they live longer.
So,
So, but the percentage, if you were to go worldwide, the percentage of chaga appearing on Betula alleghaniensis, which is yellow birch, is just slightly higher worldwide.
okay.
But it's because there's slightly more yellow birch than there are white birch worldwide. So,
Which stands to reason.
yep.
So 11 species of birch, and any one of them can.
Yep. And like
be
Nikki
enough
said,
for
we
you.
tend to stay, gray birch. If people are like wondering what gray birch, the leaners
Okay.
out on the outside of people's fields and stuff
Yep.
like that, those are gray birch. We tend to stay away from those. But as Nikki alluded to,
If they're young enough.
if they're young enough and they're closer, they're more in the forest and not on those outskirts where they don't have the bigger trees to fend off the elements.
Okay.
That's why they're
snow
leaners and
nose
they have weak spines.
Okay. What's the largest farm that you've done?
So that would be,
You said 1,000 plug minimum, right?
Yep. So that would be Lincoln, Lee, Win.
When?
How many plugs was?
That one is 20,000 plugs.
Wow.
Wait a
No,
second.
that's more. I thought it was more.
Actually, so that was our largest first install. So there
Yeah.
was 20,000 plugs that went in that on the first install. We Rumford is larger. Rumford
because they've been doing
has,
it every year. Yeah.
Rumford has 26,000 plugs in there because they
They did the waterfall.
the owner of that, they did the
Yeah.
waterfall investment. So they have us inoculate about 5,000 plugs every year.
No
And
kidding.
that way, when their first harvest starts, they're now getting a check every single
Every
year
year
for 15
instead
of-
years,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
one check, 3 checks over the course of
Yeah.
15 years,
Yeah.
which would be that first harvest, that second harvest, and the third harvest.
Can you stagger those on one tree? Like, can you do a tree like in sequential years like that with different age plugs? Or no?
Whether you could or not, I bet you probably could, but
I think
it
that would
stress-
overstress the
it
tree.
stresses out the tree
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. So we have we've sacrificed a couple of trees on our own property. We have 200 acres that we live on. So a couple of them that we inoculated, we've sacrificed them and have seen how they've already started growing inside
Okay.
there. And so we cut the plug in half.
Oh yeah.
So the tree is this way.
Yeah.
The plug's like this, and we cut it right here so you can see the plug on this side and the plug on this side.
Okay.
It is so cool.
So you drill a hole in the tree.
Yep.
Put those, what size hole? Are those
So it's going to be about
small.
the size of your
Yeah.
pinky nail.
Yeah.
okay? So
Maybe
maybe
maybe smaller.
14,
yeah.
14 millimeters.
okay, maybe the size of a maple tap.
Yeah.
Smaller.
Smaller.
smaller,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
no risk really of the tree
And,
being injured.
and it only goes in at about 1.25 inches.
Okay.
So what we're doing with that, is the tree's immune system is really centered in their bark and in the cambium layer.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're drilling just past the inner and the outer layer of bark, past the cambium layer, and we're drilling directly into the sapwood.
Okay.
That's where what we have learned is it's gonna initially use the sapwood as a mode
Traveling.
of transportation.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's going to use its mode of transportation for the fungi to travel in.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Because you can follow the cookie crumbs.
Right.
It's really neat.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
you see where the fungi was going, and it's going around the heartwood, and then
Yes.
it pops
You
out to
can
the other side, and it's right about to form a
Because
chaga
when you look
conch.
at the
No
wood,
kidding.
you don't think that the wood is alive because it's hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel alive, but
Okay.
it is. So when you cut it and you see how it's traveling, you can see that like little breadcrumbs like
No kidding.
throughout the wood, and you're amazed because it knows what to do traveling through it.
No
I
kidding.
mean, you have to see the picture. Yeah.
So where that chaga grows, is it coming out from the hole where the plug is, or opposite side of the?
It can come out where the plug is, or it can decide it can
No
come out
kidding.
at its weakest point.
All right,
so we
so I'm
actually
just naturally thinking, well, you put the plug in there and the chaga
yes
grows
we,
out of there.
we actually have pictures of our dowels turning into chaga in the tree, and then chaga is coming out of other places, not out where we inoculated. It's coming out other places. So wherever there's a weak point in the tree is where it's
Okay,
going to show
yeah.
its face.
What people don't, what
Yeah.
people probably don't realize either, and what you probably don't realize is that's the first time that we've shared this information publicly.
Yes.
No kidding, all right.
So that's the first time
Yes.
that this information has been made public at all, and it's we've recently kind of finalized the data on
Yes.
it. Going, wow! So when we drill, that can come out where the plug was drilled.
Yeah.
But it can also come out adjacent to it
Mhm.
because chaga actually grows from the bark.
Okay.
So it's not growing from the center of the tree and then coming out. It's actually coming out of the bark. So what's really cool about that is a plug, this big, goes in there, and then adjacent to it, 4 inches away, is this huge piece of bark that's popping open, and
Okay.
chaga's coming out of the side.
No kidding.
So the hole's this big, and the piece of chaga that's coming out is
All
this
right.
big already.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
only been 3 years. We're the only company in North America who has ever done this.
So first one farming chaga in the
That's it.
U.S.
And the-
Any other countries that do anything remotely close?
Yep.
or-
So
Yes.
Finland, Russia. Finland is about 3 years ahead of us.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sweden's doing it.
Sweden is doing it.
Yeah. China's doing it.
On very small scale. So
Mm-hmm.
Finland, we kind of took a lot of their ideas and then made them better. And
Okay,
then mocked
yeah,
them up a
that's-
bit. How about this? We took Finland's processes and we improved them.
And
we're
basically, that's how science works.
That's right.
Standing on the shoulders of your predecessors.
Yeah.
and
That's
just
right.
keep building something
Their
better.
first harvest, because they're at the 65th parallel, and,
Okay.
and where I think we sit at the 45th.
Yeah.
45th is the perfect parallel for chaga growing in terms of what chaga needs for temperature in order to grow. Mushrooms are fungi is very interesting in the sense that they need specific things in order to fruit. So lion's mane needs cooler weather, real moisture in the air, and that's how they'll fruit from logs. Chaga needs a hot and a cold. So we need
Extremes.
extreme warm summers and extreme cold winters. That
Heck, we got that going on right now.
That's right.
Yep.
That
Yep.
right, literally right.
It's like
Literally.
90 right now as we speak.
Yes.
So that fluctuation is actually what causes that fruiting to occur.
Okay.
So Finland, their first harvest is in 2028. I think they're about 8 months or 9 months before us. Their first harvest, even though they're a couple years ahead of us, their first harvest is about 11,000 pounds. Ours is we're playing just over 100,000 pounds for our first harvest. So
we've been busy
10 times.
yeah, and so when chaga is inoculated into the tree, the first couple years, you really don't see anything on the outside of the tree. It just kind of looks like a hole where you put the plug and
You'll
the
see
tree is
staining, cracking, bleeding, but a lot of people don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
right. So when we inoculate, about 2 to 3 years after inoculation, then it starts showing signs that the plug is taking. It shows signs that there's some activity going on inside the tree, some action. What will happen is the hole is drilled into the tree. A crack will start forming above and below that inoculation site. Some bleeding will occur, like Nikki said. So it looks like a black teardrop. That's that black outer sclerotia starting to form.
Okay.
And bulging, where all of the inoculation, we put all of them on the same side of the tree. They'll be like, it almost is like a vein, and that it'll bulge out and kind of connect the dots.
Okay.
And what that actually is, if you know anything about tree ecology, what the tree is actually doing is called something compartmentalization, is what it's called. With us, when we get hurt, our body tries to fix what the problem actually is. With trees, what they do is they ward off, they wall off.
Isolate it.
Yeah, they wall off the problem. Because we bypass the tree's immune system, it's basically, when it walls it off, it's essentially accepting it into itself. It's forcing it to then, you and I are going to be like this forever.
We are one.
You're with me like it or not.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
When we first launched the company, the Lewiston Sun Journal took an interest in us at the end of 22 and posted a front page article that said chaga farming is on the fringe of a multi-billion-dollar industry. That came out like 4 days after we launched the company.
Really?
So it was an explosive launch, that's for sure. And that's just how it worked out. It wasn't timed.
Wow.
They got a hold of us. One of our clients got a hold of them, the newspaper, and said, you have to do a story on me. Like, this is just too cool.
Well, I saw a YouTube video.
Okay.
Of,
yep. That was
it
WMTW.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That was a good little segment.
Yeah, that was. And then they wrote a number of other papers afterwards. We took them out into one of our forests last year. People from Sun Journal and Portland Press Herald, and showed them our chaga actually growing. So the last article, I think, said that Maine is the proving ground for chaga farming.
Wow.
So that really kind of brought a lot of attention and curiosity. You know, like, I can't tell you, it's almost every other call, if not every call, that somebody says, I had no idea you could grow chaga.
No, I didn't. And when we started talking, it really spawned my interest quite a bit, because it's like, it solves a lot of problems.
It does.
That could arise.
Yes.
Because like you said, you know, we hunt and fish, and we feel like we see it frequently. But I feel like if I was to go out looking for it, it may be a little more frustrating, because it's not that.
Right.
See, the great thing about our strain, it's trademarked. Our strain is from Maine. So it's not from outside the country. We actually...
we hand chose.
We hand chose.
So how that worked, I'll just interject a little.
Yes, please.
So how that worked is we took 3 different conchs off of 3 different trees about 60 miles away from each other.
Okay.
Then we sent that to our laboratory, and our laboratory then took the mycelium out of that, grew them in petri dishes. I'm skipping a bunch of steps, but grew them in petri dishes to see which one was the strongest, most aggressive grower, so on and so forth. And then we took that, we trademarked that strain, and that's what all of our plugs are made from.
Okay.
So it's all made from the same
Yes.
chaga.
Is there, and I don't know. It's just me thinking out loud. Any risk of disease or something affecting the chaga itself to where it becomes non-viable or something? Like, is that?
Yeah,
I'm sure you've thought
That's
about
an
that. Like, what happens if I
yeah.
get a bunch of this chaga?
Yeah.
right.
And then all of a sudden we get something that
Yeah, so
stops it or inhibits it or
so nothing else consumes that chaga conch except
Okay.
for us humans.
All right.
So bears and deer and bull, moose and stuff like that, they have no interest in it. Chipmunks, all the little small,
yeah.
they have no interest in it. Spiders, weebles, so on and so forth, they have no interest in it. So the only people that consume it at all is us. In terms of I guess a chaga disease could come up, or a birch tree disease could come up. That would eat up about 48% of our trees here in Maine, which would be pretty
Significant.
severe.
Yeah.
But we've never heard of anything.
Yeah, we've never heard of
No.
anything like that.
Never came across nothing.
In terms of could anything inside the tree stop the chaga from growing? The great part about our company is that we guarantee that the entire crop will grow. So
All right.
when a landowner purchases 2,000 plugs from us and we install those 2,000 plugs, we come back between years when we're back on our second and third visit. If any of those plugs show that they haven't showing signs that they haven't started taking, we replace those plugs for free.
Okay.
That way we can guarantee 100% of that crop is going to grow.
Okay.
And really we're running about a 97% success rate right now.
All right.
Only a handful of plugs or so
Yeah,
out of
so
the
far. Yeah.
400,000 that we've installed so far.
Say I was going to have you guys come out and do 1,000 plugs. What's a typical day look like for you guys? Like, what's your whole process to set them up?
So, so prior to that, we would come out to the landowners after we had a phone conversation. Usually starts an email. So if you emailed us, we'd start emailing.
Yep.
Then we request to have a phone conversation.
Okay.
Then we have a phone conversation. Then the next step of the process is having us come out there for a forest assessment. So we're going to come out there. We're going to look for markers for disease.
Okay.
We're going to look at the long-term health of the forest. We're going to look at the trees' canopies and crowns, make sure everybody has enough room. So when we look at the forest, we're looking at it 20 years from now,
Okay.
not just how
Today.
it looks how it looks today.
Mm-hmm.
So then once we do that, we're kind of getting an idea at that point, okay, and suggesting to the landowner, okay, so you have 30 acres here, and we're suggesting you had a real high concentration of birch in here on these 5 acres. Why don't we turn these 5 acres into a chaga farm? And you say, that's great. That works out for what
Okay.
I want to do with the rest of
Yeah.
my land.
Okay.
This essentially allows the landowner to diversify their forest portfolio.
Yeah, that's a great.
Allows them to do a number of things with it. So then when we come to the forest that day, we show up in our truck, and as you saw, that's a difficult truck to miss, that's for sure.
Almost looks like a bass fisherman or something.
That's right. That's right.
They get pretty loud trucks too.
So we come out and we get suited up, and we both have belts on, and we're both carrying plugs, and we don't use regular drills.
We carry 30 pounds of gear with us.
No kidding.
About 30 pounds of gear between our packs and our side. So,
Okay.
yeah. So we head out into the forest, and we already kind of have an idea in terms of what area we're going to start in, because we kind of already mapped that out with the landowner when we were there.
Yeah.
And made our suggestions.
So then we break ground actually, because usually most landowners, not all, I'm not saying all, but most landowners will stay on paths. They won't go off the beating path, and because some
of their own land,
because they're afraid of getting lost. So when we get off the beating path, we realize, oh my goodness, you have so much more, or you have so much less inside.
Right.
But most of the time, the landowners don't know what they have inside
Don't
their
even
land.
know. I mean, it's amazing. Like sometimes we go out to the forest, and it's the landowner's first time.
Yeah.
Well, I've been on this trail.
Get out,
But
really?
I own 150 acres.
Yep.
You know, I've been on this trail that goes through the middle,
So-
but I don't know what the rest of it looks
My
like.
So when we
goodness.
see like certain things growing in the forest, we'll point those out as we're talking about chaga farming, of course.
Yeah,
So
we kinda
we're
make-
educating them with their
Yeah.
own forest.
Yeah, we try and make it as much of an educational process as
Yes.
possible.
Yeah.
And really at the same time, you know, we're spending a couple hours with these folks, you know, when
Yes.
we're doing this forest assessment. We want them to get an idea of who we are because we're
Right.
entering into an 18-year agreement, you know? So, I mean, unfortunately, that's longer than most marriages these
It
days.
is.
Unfortunately,
So,
yeah.
you know, so they're getting to know us, we're getting to know them. The backbone of our company is built on partnerships because those the
Yeah.
land that's the land that we're using in order to grow our commodity. So we're essentially building a community of people that are creating this American grown, American cultivated chaga that is industry which has never existed prior to us.
Yes.
There's wild harvested, but there's not. So, I mean, like I said, that first harvest that we have coming up is about 110,000 pounds. We have just over 1 million pounds successfully growing. Now,
Wow.
if I reel this back to the acreage, we have about 12,000 acres under contract. So with all of our chaga farmers, the total amount of land that we have access to do the chaga farms is about 12,000 acres. We have about 1,000 acres working right now. So 1,000 acres, all the trees are inoculated. So
Wow. So if we fast forward to your first harvest, like what does that look like? And what does like distribution look like to get this
yeah,
stuff
that's cool.
to
Yes.
market?
So we're in those stages right
Okay.
now. So we're about 40% of the chaga harvested is already sold.
No kidding.
So we've already started bringing that to market with Chaga Futures.
Okay.
A couple people and a couple of companies in a specific industry were
Very interesting.
very interested and very confident
very
that what
eager.
we were going to do, that we were going to deliver, what we were going to say we were
Okay,
going to
yeah.
deliver.
Yes.
So, so about 40% of that is already spoken for.
Wow.
We're currently in the process of establishing where our processing plant and facility and our laboratory, the JustNiks laboratory, is going to be. So we're going to be doing everything in-house.
Okay.
Um,
So plugs and all.
plugs everything. So
Wow.
we have a couple of scientists already that are on board that are going to be running that show. And so, yes.
Because that was going to be a question earlier. I was like, why not just develop the plugs in house? Is
Well,
that something?
I mean,
you could-
like what
you
we
could
told
do?
you, like who we are,
Yeah.
you know, like when we see something, we're like, now we want to create this ourselves.
All right.
That's exactly what we're doing. But you know, it takes a little bit of time sometimes to build a mycology lab.
well, I mean, yeah.
Especially when there's trust to be had,
Yeah.
you know, trust because we're building this company too. So getting these people on board with very sacred information, you know, is very nerve wracking to get these people on board and make sure that they're going to be loyal to us the entire time.
We're still vetting. We're still in the process of vetting,
Yeah.
and we've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but we probably have, you know, 18 people that are already lined up to get moving on this in all different facets. You know, we have the laboratory and the mycology side of it, and that's one part. But we have, you know, the drying and the processing. You know, that's going to be an entirely another part. And we have harvesters and truck drivers, and that's an entirely different piece.
Yeah.
Because you know when we inoculate, you know, just 1,000 plugs, that's going to produce a conservative 2,500 pounds of chaga. So each plug is going to produce a conservative 2.5 pounds per harvest.
Okay.
2,500 pounds isn't something that we're going to carry out with our
No.
with our pickup truck or backpacks or anything like that. So there's already we're already establishing the financial infrastructure and the actual infrastructure in order to. So we're gonna have cool things like you know what snow dogs are.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
yeah.
snow dogs are gonna be
Really?
going to be used to, yes. So
A lot of moving parts there.
yeah, and we have some sponsors with these things as well. So
Nice.
and not like little trucks or anything like that. You know, not pickup trucks coming in there, but Peterbilts. So
Yeah.
because again, if you're looking, that's 1,000 plugs doing 2,500 pounds. But we have some places, we have a lot. I can't say a lot. I can say many though. We have many farms that have 5,000-10,000 plugs in them for that first harvest. So we won't be pulling 2,500. We're pulling 25,000 pounds from that one of these places, our first harvest. Yeah. And that's the conservative amount. And with some of the new developments that we shared with you about that chaga can actually, it can enter the tree and then it's not restricted. It's a living, breathing organism. Yeah. It's not restricted by where we put the hole. It then says, I can also find a weaker point if there's a weaker point, and just comes out.
And utilize that. Mm-hmm. When you came up with this idea, did you get pushback from people? Like,
yes, we did.
Anytime you do something,
that's not something that we talk about too often too. So.
Anytime you do something innovative, right? Thinking outside the box, people probably you're crazy.
Haters hate.
You can't do that.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Shared their opinions.
Had shared their opinions saying, there's no way you can do that. And lots of people said, oh, wait a second. I tried taking a couple pieces of chaga before and stuffing them in a hole to see if it grew, and nothing grew. And we said,
there's a lot of false information out there. So you really have to do your studies when it comes to chaga and you need to know where to look, because the internet has all kinds of fake information out there.
It's fake nowadays.
So now we're problem solving calls with people that are asking, you're killing the tree. What do you think you're doing to the environment and stuff like that? So we're trying to problem solve and calm people's nerves and let them know it
doesn't kill the tree.
It does not kill the tree. We found a 250-year-old yellow birch, strong, standing with the massive conch on it. I mean, it was the largest conch I've ever seen on the Golden Road, actually. And we left it. We didn't want to cut it down because this is a 250-year-old tree.
Growing strong.
Why mess with it?
Growing strong with the chaga growing on it.
Every storm came in, it stayed strong. Yeah. Every wind that blew, it stayed standing. I mean,
and that's where that symbiotic relationship comes into play.
The tree lives its full life. Once the tree dies, the chaga dies with it. And then when the chaga dies with it, there's a symbiotic, all the stars have to align, because then the spores release.
Okay.
That's another thing that we didn't share, but
so that's actually the way that chaga sporulates. That conch that's growing off the tree, as we said before, is sterile. There are no spores. So where do the spores come from, and how does chaga reproduce like this?
Yes.
So as Nikki said, after the tree dies, and typically it's of natural causes, the chaga continues to live in there for several years, 5-6 years. Once it is consumed, now remember, that's a symbiotic relationship. So now only one partner is there, and that partner is going to run out, and then it's going to die. Right before it dies, it's going to release something or open up something called a basidiocarp.
Okay.
It's going to draw a whole bunch of moisture into the dying wood. That moisture is going to peel that bark back, and it peels back real hard, and about a 3-foot gray pad is really what it looks like. Looks like a fish fillet.
Okay.
Opens up, and it's super high and rich in nutrients and dense in nutrients. So it attracts birds and bugs and all that. And within 48 hours is typically gone. So we actually have photos of several of them, but they're super rare. They're super rare to see a basidiocarp in the wild.
It's more rare than seeing chaga, to be honest.
For sure.
Really?
For sure.
It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the health benefits of chaga?
Yes.
I mean, most definitely. One thing that we certainly recommend to everybody is to everybody do your own research.
Yeah.
But it's also where you're looking, as Nick pointed out too, like where you're looking is important as well. PubMed, PUBMED.com. I think it's NIL dot something,
Yep.
but that's a great place to find out actual information. Okay. So the compounds that are in chaga and the medicinal compounds, there's over 70 medicinal compounds. If you were to isolate them, ergosteroperoxide, lanosteroperoxide, anotnadiol, all these do something different and something else. So the health benefits to chaga are like
Are endless.
Are wide.
Endless.
Any anti that you can really think of. So anti-fatigue. So it gives you, not only does it give you natural energy, not like a coffee or anything like that, but more in the sense of
Your own
you had
energy.
a great night's sleep last
Yes.
night, you ate properly, all your metrics are where they should be, and you wake up feeling like $1,000,000. That's the kind of energy that it gives
Right.
you, like
Mm-hmm.
that
Restored.
yeah,
You're kind of
nice
just-
restored natural energy.
We had friends that had eczema and really bad eczema
It's
all
actually-
over their arms.
Actually,
and,
the reporter.
yes.
It was the reporter of the Sun Journal.
Really?
and
yeah.
and we gave them our tea, and he decided to drink it on a regular basis for a month, and his eczema cleared up.
His eczema. Not only did his eczema clear up, he was there and there. The reporter and the photographer who did the story on us, they showed us. One had it on the back of his arm, and the other had it on the back of his back, and it was just covered in it.
Mm-hmm.
They tried our chaga. They drank it straight for the next month, and their eczema cleared up. They didn't have to get that shot that
Okay.
people are getting for their eczema.
Yeah. Our
He didn't have to get it.
our plumber.
You know how expensive that shot is?
I bet.
Our plumber was asking about chaga, so we were giving him a schooling while he was
is a
working
great
on
No
our
kidding.
pipes. And
Yeah, we actually
Say,
started.
hey, do I get a discount on my plumbing bill now? Because
We actually ended up starting a tea company with him later on called
kidding.
Darkwood's Tea Company, but that's another
that's
story.
another story. but he had GERD and from the military from eating MREs. And so his wife ended up making this
Cherry pie
this cherry pie after he drank like 2 or 3 cups of our chaga tea
at our house.
at our house. And he can't eat sugar because he'll get really bad,
Acid
you know what
reflux.
GERD is. And so he said,
He said he was like, "Screw it."
he's
I'm
like,
gonna
screw
have-
it. I'm gonna eat a little. I'm gonna eat the whole pie. So he ate the whole pie. He gave in.
He had a
ate-
piece.
He had a piece,
and he didn't.
He had no
nothing
reaction.
happened. He went. No way. Like
He had-
Justin and Nikki were actually like they were telling me the truth about this.
Yes.
Like free radicals and it will help GERD. And
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
So go ahead.
So then he decided to eat the whole
He
pie.
said, "Screw it. I'm going to really put to
So,
the test."
so he thought he was going to be in trouble the next day or 15 minutes later, however his GERD worked. He was blown away
Really?
and is sold to this very day about chaga.
no kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. I mean,
I mean, we have so many more stories. Like, I'm not on anxiety and depression medicine anymore because of the work I put in, with doctors and counseling and my physical
And
fitness
natural medicine.
and natural medicine. I'm not on any
That's awesome.
psych meds because of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm an advocate of my own health. Yeah, I want everybody to have that for
And
them.
we were just talking about that a little while ago, but
Yeah,
that you have to be an advocate for yourself these
Yes.
days.
certainly.
Or otherwise, you're just a number
yes,
going in and out of that clinic.
Yes,
And with, there was a big mushroom boom in the mid 2010s, 2015,
Yeah, yeah,
2016. And then post-COVID, I mean, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, there's been a huge shift to people looking towards more natural medicines and,
Yeah.
and
Wanting
more holistic healing
answers.
and so on
Yeah.
and so forth.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So
So
we've made so many advances in medicine. We call it progress, but we're sure as heck not any healthier
right.
No.
because of it.
And the only thing that you need to be careful with chaga is if you can't eat spinach or
If you're
peanuts.
sensitive to oxalates.
Sensitive to
Okay.
oxalates. That's the only warning about chaga is if you're sensitive to oxalates.
What's
don't
your
drink it.
favorite way to prepare it? You mentioned teas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
We have a lot of. We have a lot.
Yeah, it was almost like we have to like reel in what we were about to say there because we were both just gonna go. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
We like to mix chaga with a lot of different things.
Okay.
So I mean, and because Nikki's an herbalist and we both study and consume all this stuff, even if there's not something wrong per se, we don't have anything wrong with us, but we have a big week coming up or whatever it may be, we start ingesting that prior to. But we both really like chaga with fresh ginger.
Chamomile.
Chamomile's really good with chaga as well.
I love it with ginger and elderberries. I really love that together.
No kidding.
Yes.
Nikki actually makes. Can I talk about the pine soda?
Sure.
So Nick makes a pine soda that tastes exactly like ginger ale, and it's only made from pine needles and chaga tea.
There's
So
a lot of vitamin C in pine needles.
If you ferment those pine needles in water and sugar, they have enough yeast actually on them.
Yes.
So if you so if you ferment that for 48 hours,
Yeah.
and then she does something else and then she mixes that in with chaga tea and lets that ferment another 2 days. And the result is a fizzy, bubbly, tastes just like ginger ale.
Really?
Yeah.
And it is delicious.
So we have a couple of products that we're going to be
I was
putting
gonna say,
on the
sounds
market.
like you need a storefront.
Some of these products will be going to market. Some of these things will be taken to market in
absolutely
28.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, and there'll be other companies. We've already started establishing the other companies that are going to be underneath the JustNiks MycoSilva. That's the name of our company, JustNiks MycoSilva LLC. We call ourselves, we're wide. Everybody knows us as the Chaga Farmers.
Okay.
So if we walk into the grocery store, they'll be like, "Oh, you're the Chaga Farmers, right?" They have no idea, Justin and Nikki, no idea our names, but you're the Chaga Farmers. JustNiks MycoSilva LLC. JustNiks MycoSilva. So JustNiks is
I'm going to ask
Justin.
you about the name.
Is Justin and Nikki. That's why it's a capital J and a capital N, but it's one word, JustNiks. And then Myco is Greek for mushroom.
Yeah.
And silva, like silviculture, is Latin for forest.
Okay.
So essentially, the name of our company is Justin and Nikki's Mushroom Forest.
That's
Just in a fancy way.
JustNiks MycoSilva sounds fancier. Nobody can pronounce it for whatever reason, but
No, they can't spell it either.
I spent some time. I was looking at that name, and I'm going, "All right, there's significance here."
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
there
is.
They're not
I ended
Russian.
I ended up breaking it down, and I
did?
wrote it down. Yeah, and I was
Really?
like, so I had Myco as fungus,
Yeah.
Okay.
but Silva as forest.
Yep.
But I just was like, what a creative name. I really liked it.
You're the first person who's ever broken that down.
You're the only one that
we
figured
know
it out,
of. It's
yeah.
really cool.
But I mean, I looked it up, but I'm like, there's significance there. There's something behind the MycoSilva. And I was like, Myco's fungus. I know that, but what's Silva? I didn't know Silva was forest, but
Like silviculture.
now I
So,
know.
Justin and Nikki's Mushroom Forest.
Yeah,
And,
the Chaga Farmers.
That's right.
Chaga Farmers. Yeah.
So they can find you at,
They can find us at chagafarmers.com.
okay.
And that plural, Chaga Farmers.
And if someone's interested in,
If somebody's interested so if you go to our website, it really kind of breaks everything down. A lot of the things that we've already talked about and our process as well is on there, real straightforward. Our contact number and our email address is also on that website.
Okay.
So if you go to chagafarmers.com, you can find all the information right there. We also
Have an 866.
we have an
number.
866 number as well, which is
Yes.
real easy to remember, which is 866-77-CHAGA. CHAGA.
and you had something else too that's going on. As of today, right?
As of today,
As of just a couple hours ago, we actually just launched our first crowdfunding campaign, which we're pretty excited about and has taken off.
We want everybody to get involved, even the people that don't have land to buy trees. and they want to be part of this adventure, please be part of our adventure. Yes.
We'd love the support, and there are different tiers. So if you go onto the link, I'll get you the link.
Yeah.
If you click on that link, there are different tiers that you can different money tiers, $25, $50, and each of those kind of give you an added benefit to helping support that. And what we're doing is it's our first crowdfunding campaign. It's our first anything campaign. So this is being used for harvest preparation to start getting some of the materials for that.
Okay.
We're also interested, as well, if a serious investor was looking to speak with us, we're happy to do that on a private note as well.
Okay.
Because this will probably lead right to our seed funding. So
super interesting.
It's a lot of fun. We spend all of our time out in the forest. It's usually the morning part of the day, morning to early afternoon. We get out of there before it gets too hot or before it gets whatever it may be. And but we love it. We certainly stay fit because of it. Being in our 50s, and when we're not in the forest, we're working out, preparing for the forest.
Yeah, I said when you guys told me your age, I was surprised that you guys are in your 50s because you don't look it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We worked really hard to get this way.
And we work out and an awful lot.
It doesn't happen by accident, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Sure.
No, it doesn't.
Full intentionality.
I was a level 3 CrossFit coach in another
Really?
life. So, and worked for headquarters and traveled all over the world and stuff. So I'm kind of our trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
The drill sergeant.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
But she's
the
the
careful
CEO.
because I need her signature on it.
She's got the pen.
That's right.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of people out there with lots of questions.
Yeah.
And we will answer
shoot.
every single one of them.
And that's another, and that's a great point, Nick, because I would say probably 60% of our calls, at least that we get, 60% are just people asking about what we're doing, find that it's really cool. They only have a half an acre and they've got like 2 maples on it or something like that. But they're just calling us because, wow, I saw that and it's so cool. Like, so how do you guys so a lot of the times we're just talking to people on the phone who are just interested in finding out what we do and how we do it and why we do it.
Yeah.
Those are always a fun conversation when people ask, but so why did you guys get into this? Then we start talking about it was never to be to make a lot of money. It wasn't to be a gazillionaire. It wasn't to do any of that stuff. It was to help create a commercially grown source of medicine, natural medicine for the people who want to consume those natural medicines, and
then providing income
and providing a source of income for our Maine neighbors.
Well, and you get to do a job that you enjoy.
And that's
and we love it.
It
doesn't feel like work to us. Like we put the dowels in our pockets and we gear up. It doesn't even knowing that we're going 940 feet up
in 300 yards.
In 300 yards.
That's
and we're inoculating along the way.
Inoculating along the way, watching the dog, making sure the dog's safe. He's making sure that we're safe.
Have fun with that harvest.
Right.
Yes. Well, we already have an idea how that's going to go. It's ziplining down.
That's why we're hiring people. We did mention we're 50, right?
That tree's up there.
That's right.
We're going to zip line that one.
We're actually going to use that forest farm, and we're going to call that Chaga Farming University, CFU, so that so that's going to be part of our onboarding process. And it sounds funny, but we're serious. That's going to be part of the onboarding process. Is they're going to need to come up and tour this particular chaga farm, and the
hardest one.
And it's probably one of the most challenging ones for sure.
And then we have another challenging one that we're going to put people under.
Which one was that?
The one pixie sticks that never cleaned up.
Yep. That's a challenging.
That's a challenging one too.
But
where the loggers will come in and they'll just leave the trees down.
Okay.
And they harvested how many trees?
A
Like
lot.
every other tree they harvested, and they just kept it down. They didn't remove some of it. So when we
So
go in
there's
and
4
knock,
feet of understory all
Yes.
crisscrossed
Oh my
together
God,
that you
yes,
have to
yes.
walk on.
Yeah.
super
you know,
dangerous.
through 100 acres.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's like for 100 acres. So
Thank you for
no problem.
explaining that.
Yeah, it was all that understory that, you know, they just kind of leave it crossed down and
Yeah.
That's no fun.
yeah, no, it's challenging. But
Yeah.
but I mean, you know, we like those challenges. You know, we we prepare for those challenges. You know,
We have to go through those tests. So the people we bring on, they
when
have to
we're
go through
working
those tests.
when we're working out outside of work, we're working out in the extreme heat. And when during the wintertime, we're in the barn working. Like, we don't go to a gym, we work out in the barn.
Oh,
And
nice.
we're out in the barn with no windows, no heat, no air conditioning. It's 20 below. And we're doing that on our off time in order to prepare for.
Yeah.
The woods. Yeah.
So
Man.
it's
It's amazing.
It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Well, awesome.
well, this has been a lot of fun.
I
man.
really appreciate
was.
this was I was looking forward to this one. One, I like science, one, I like health, and you guys had a pretty novel business going.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of questions, so my wheels have been turning. You did a good job answering
And
them.
you're going to have
Cool.
more. You're
So I
gonna
probably
contact
will.
us.
Science,
Probably will.
science and health. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, we always say if you're going to talk about mushrooms or Jesus, we're not going to stop talking about either one. So you
Yeah.
bring up those conversations, we're in 100.
Nice.
So
And we
Nice.
love workflow. We love, love,
Getting
love
into
workflow.
flow state.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nick and I are in. It probably comes from spending all the time that we do together. We're able to go into flow state together,
Okay.
which is where we create some of these. You know, we'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes and look at each other and just go, "Let's go to the think tank." And the think
Really?
tank is
Yeah.
sitting at the table across from one another. Because we have some ideas that we need to get down, and so we
that's so
were able to
amazing.
get into that flow state, and now we look and it's like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. No.
You know, like that much information went by. Isn't just that, but sometimes when we get into flow state, we start creating other companies.
Yeah.
And we've got a file folder of other companies that we've already created that haven't gone into existence yet. Because we're like, oh, this would be such a cool company, and we'd be like, oh yeah, we could totally do this.
It's
and
like
make
a
this work.
it's like a diary for our kids later on.
If only there were more of you.
Yeah,
That's
right, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Sounds like you guys are going in a good direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really solid direction.
We're excited about
We're
it.
excited and we're nervous all at the same time.
So you're still excited 7 years
Yes.
from conception.
Yes.
That's
Even more because, you know, because in the last year, Paul, is when we've seen that the first 2 to
Okay.
3 years, you don't see anything
you're
happen
starting to see
inside the
the
tree.
fruits of your labor.
So then between 3 and 4 years, which is where we're at right now, then that's when it starts expressing itself externally.
Yeah.
And we have more inspection sites that we haven't even seen yet. So
No
we're
kidding.
I mean, so
You're eager to get out there.
Yes.
and-
so throughout the
Yes.
year, like we wear all sorts of different hats. So we do speaking events like this. We're the inoculation. Currently, we're the inoculation team.
we educate.
We're doing
Yeah.
those things. So we're wearing all these different
Man.
hats, and at the same time, learning how to put together crowdfunding
Yeah.
campaigns and start to prepare for the future. All of this stuff, right from the very beginning, is nothing that we've ever done. So all of this stuff. I mean, we've had companies and we've had buildings and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, but that's totally different.
This
than
is
that.
a different
This is
animal.
Every single step
Yeah.
that we take is a brand new step to take that's never been taken before.
All right.
And that's exciting. It's exciting knowing that, you know, in the beginning we said we're gonna make mistakes because this
Of course.
has
yeah.
never been done. Even if it had been done, we would make mistakes.
Yeah.
So those mistakes even become nourishing to us because, you know, along the way, because we're, oh, cool. So we just tweak this and we just change that dial a little bit. And now we're going down this road. And now that,
Yeah.
you know, something entirely small completely changed our field testing, process.
All right.
You know, and I really feel the farming aspect of things. I'm going to wrap this up, like going back to farming.
Yeah.
The reason why I picked farming as my dream job was because you're problem solving on the fly. Every day is different. The weather's different. The animals are different. The land is different. The food is different. You got to problem solve. If you can problem solve on the fly, you're untouchable.
Yeah.
So, and children today need to know.
Oh man, you're
Farm work, it may seem grueling at times. You may have a really bad day at times with the farm. You can have a really good day at the farm. But kids today need to have that hard work,
Critical thinking,
problem solving on the fly, physical work.
Yep.
That's
100%.
that's where all of this stemmed from, was from farming.
Yep.
Simple farming.
That's a great way to end it.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you guys coming.
Yeah, Paul.
It's a great conversation. If you ever want to do it again, I'd like to hear updates.
Yeah, we'd
Absolutely.
love to
Yes.
check back in with you.
Yes,
I'd-
thank you
I'd
for
love-
having us.
Oh,
we
my
were
pleasure.
looking forward to the trip coming all the way
It
up
was a
here.
long ways, and I appreciate you guys 3 hours.
Yes.
On a 90
We've been
degree
really
day.
excited. So we've shared with the few people that we do talk to, most of all of which are our clients. You know that circle that you talked about,
yeah.
that 12. Ours is like a little tiny little circle.
I told you mine's small too.
Right. But we really appreciate you having us up here, and this is cool. This has been our first and only podcast that we've ever done. So
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
we figured Maine Outdoor Enthusiast was the right one. To
I
start
appreciate
with.
it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. I guess till next time, get outside. It's good for the soul. See ya.